In this video, we'll demonstrate how to configure and use PrintPal, which is significantly easier than creating and compiling scripts to map printers to devices. First, we'll set the LDAP path so that we can map network objects from Active Directory. Then we'll complete a fictitious group map by adding a group to the first floor. We'll add network objects, an IP range, and a device that is not part of Active Directory to the group map. Then we'll map gateway printers to a group and demonstrate how you can use inheritance when mapping printers. Next, we'll set a default printer for the group. We'll test our PrintPal map. We'll enable and configure the PrintPal client. And finally, we'll show you how users can interact with PrintPal in a session. I've already set up a Windows 2003 domain controller, and the fictitious domain is mycompany.local. Let's go back to the bridge. PrintPal can be accessed from either the Uniprint bridge or the Uniprint application server. However, for initial setup, we recommend doing it through the Uniprint bridge. Under Tools and Utilities, click PrintPal. To set up the LDAP path, click Settings, and then click Add. Enter the LDAP path. This domain controller requires authentication, so click Supply Credentials. We'll enter in administrative credentials for this domain controller. And then click OK. The mycompany.local domain has been added. Click OK. Now that we're connected to Active Directory, we have access to different network objects. Let's complete the group map by adding a new group to the first floor in Montreal. Click to select first_floor. Click New, and then click Group. It's important to note that group names cannot contain special characters or spaces, hence the underscore in the floor names. For this group, let's enter in Marketing. We also want Marketing to inherit printers from the first floor. Select Inherit Printers from Parent Group, and then click OK. All the domain devices are listed here. Since we only want marketing devices, let's apply a filter to the Network Objects tab. Type in MRKT and then press Enter. All of the marketing devices are displayed. Let's add the first marketing PC. Click to select MRKT PC1, and then drag it to the upper middle pane. Let's also select PC2, and then drag it to the upper middle pane. Let's save our changes. Click Save. To add a device that is not a member of Active Directory, for example a workgroup device, click to select Marketing again. Click New, and then select Device. Enter the device name and then click OK. Let's add an organizational unit. From the type list, select OUs. Click to select Marketing PR, and then drag it to the upper middle pane. Now let's add a user. From the type list, select Users. Click to select D. Morgan, and then drag it to the upper middle pane. And finally, let's add a user group. Click to select Administrators, and then drag it to the upper middle pane. Now let's add a set of computers that have static IP addresses. Click to select Training. Click New, and then select IP range. Give this range a name. Similar to group names, range names cannot contain special characters or spaces. Let's enter in classroom_A. Enter the first IP address in this range, and then enter the final IP address in this range, and then click OK. To save our changes to PrintPal, click Save. Now let's map a printer to a group. Since everyone in Montreal uses Secure Print, let's add the Uniprint VPQ to Montreal. Click to select Montreal. Click the Gateway Printers tab. Click to select Uniprint VPQ, and then drag it to the lower middle pane. Now let's make sure Marketing has inherited this printer. Click to select the Marketing group. The Uniprint VPQ printer is inherited, and a down arrow in the icon indicates that this is an inherited printer. Let's add a couple more printers. Click to select HP LaserJet, and then drag it to the lower middle pane. Click to select Lexmark T630, and then drag it to the lower middle pane. We can also set a default printer for all users and computers mapped to the marketing group. Right-click Uniprint VPQ, and then click Set Default. A green checkmark will appear on the printer icon to indicate that this is the default printer for this group. Let's save our changes. Click Save. Since PrintPal server works in conjunction with the PrintPal client, let's make some configuration changes on the application server. Under Network Connections, click Sessions. Since we set the Uniprint VPQ as the default printer, clear Set Uniprint as default printer. Also select Delete Leftover Print Jobs. And we also want to run the PrintPal client when the user launches a session. Select Run PrintPal on this server. To save these configuration changes, click Save. Let's go back to the bridge to test our PrintPal map. Click Test. You can test by device name, IP address, or username. Let's test by device name. Enter in jgibbspc, and then click Show Printers to see which printers will be mapped to jgibbspc. And here are the printers that are mapped to jgibbspc. Let's check to see if the printers match. And they do. Click Close. We can also test by active session, but first we have to open one up. Let's go to the Windows 7 workstation. Double-click Remote Desktop Connection. We'll log in as jgibbs. Enter the IP address of the application server and then click Connect. Let's go back to the bridge to test the session. Click Test. Click Browsing an existing session below. Enter in administrative credentials for the application server. And then click OK. Click to select the user jgibbs. And then click OK. The session properties are automatically populated. Click Show Printers to see which printers are mapped to this session. Now let's check to make sure that the printers are mapped correctly. And they are, since the device jgibbspc has been mapped to the marketing group. Click Close. We can also configure how the user can interact with the PrintPal client. Click Settings. Click the Client tab. In order for printer mapping to occur, Enable Client on all servers must be selected. You can allow the client to run in a console session. You can have PrintPal map printers and then terminate. If you select this, all other options will be disabled and the user will not be allowed to interact with the PrintPal client. You can allow the user to add a printer through the PrintPal client. If the user adds a printer, you can ensure that the printer is re-added to their session when they log off and then log back in again. And since IP addresses are meaningless to most users, you can ensure that the IP address of the Uniprint bridge is always resolved to the server name. These are the default settings, so click OK. Let's go back to our session. The lightning bolt in the notification area is the PrintPal client. Right-click the PrintPal client to access session features. Click Session Info to display session information. The workstation name and IP address are displayed. Close this window. You can also add a printer through PrintPal instead of going to the control panel. Right-click the PrintPal client. And then select Add Printer. Let's select Generic/Text Only. This printer can be set as the default, and PrintPal can ensure that the printer persists between sessions. Click OK. The purpose of PrintPal is to automatically add printers on behalf of the user, so that the user can print directly from an application without having to worry whether a printer is available. Let's open a Word document. Double-click lorem-ipsum.doc. To print, from the File menu, click Print. The Uniprint VPQ has already been added and is set as the default printer. This is what we set earlier in PrintPal. Let's make sure that the correct HP and Lexmark printers have also been added. These are the printers that were mapped using PrintPal, and this is the printer that was added through the PrintPal client. Let's select HP LaserJet M4345 MFP. To change printer properties, click Printer Properties. Before clicking Print, you can change different printer properties or select a printer profile. Click OK. Click Print. Lorem Ipsum has been sent to the HB printer. Thank you for watching this video. Join me for my next video on creating and configuring printer profiles.